So Jamaican fans are going to be looking for a little bit more, I think, than they've seen from their team. They have a history of being a little bit up and down in world relays, but Assini Wilson will lead them off to Javon Powell, Jeremy Bembridge and Raheem Hales for that team who've never won a medal in this, actually, which is quite surprising. The world champions, Botswana, led off by Lee Epi to Justus Oratile, Busang, Colin Kebanat-Shipi, the world champion, and Byapo Ndori. No Lutsila Tobogo in this, but he qualified the men's 4x1 earlier on for the World Championships. We may see him in this in the final tomorrow. Netherlands have Keenan Blake, the 2021 winners of this. Eugene O'Mara, I mentioned he's here with his twin brother Jamie, Tony Van Diepen, and the informed Jonas Pfeiffers on the anchor leg for them. Brazil are the South American champions. They have Vinicius Moura, Lucas Villa, Thiago da Silva, and Mateus Lima on the anchor leg for them. Poland are in 4 with Mikołaj Piszka, Victor Hrubel, Remigiusz Zazula, and Metis Zesdishak. They're Australia. Good day for Australia so far. Luke van Ratingen, Rhys Holder, Matthew Hunt, and Aidan Murphy, who's been in great form as well over 200 and 400 metres. He will go on the anchor leg for them. And on the inside in 2 for Nigeria, who are under strength in this. Kefari Badmus, Ifani Ojeli, Victor Ime, and Ezekiel Asukwo. On the inside, Denmark. Their only team here. Nielsen, Van der Aar, Jurgensen, and Monaret. I've definitely seen at least one Denmark flag in the arena. It's a hell of a way from Denmark to Botswana, but there is a Denmark flag in the crowd. There are 1 or 2 Botswana flags in the crowd, let me tell you. And there are 1 or 2 high hopes for this quartet, who are the firm favourites to win this. Will be, on the basis of their World Championship gold, the favourites to win tomorrow as well. And this will delight the National Stadium in Gaborone. Tobogo stormed through. Of course, that was to finish second. So you can imagine the noise if Botswana win this heat, which we'd expect them to do. And Lee Epi is already closing on the Jamaican lead-off runner, Assini Wilson, outside him. For the Netherlands, Keenan Blake has got a great sighter here with Epi ahead of him. Australia through Luke van Ratingen in the green to the right of your shot there. He's gone storming past Poland in lane 4, but now the volume cracks up to the max. As Lee Epi on leg number 1 sends the decimals off the scale. Botswana handover first out of Australia. It was a great first leg from Van Ratingen for them as he hands on to Rhys Holder. Netherlands are going well as well. Eugene O'Mara has the baton for them. Jamaica right on the outside with Javon Powell in 4th position. But it's Australia through Rhys Holder who hit the front down the back straight and just take the sting out of the noise, at least temporarily, as he's up against Justus Oratile. Netherlands being challenged in 4th position by Brazil. Jamaica down in 5th, then Nigeria, and further back to Denmark and Poland. But it's Rhys Holder running a fine leg here. Excellent first half of the race from Australia as they just start to extend away from Botswana. The batters with Matthew Hunt for Australia. The world champion, Busang Kebanat-Shipi has the baton for Botswana in pursuit. Then Netherlands, Jamaica with Jeremy Bembridge on the move round the outside of the Netherlands. Then Brazil and Nigeria. But can Kebanat-Shipi time this to perfection? He's got Byapo Ndori waiting on the final leg. Australia have Aidan Murphy, who has got it all on in many ways. Aidan Murphy will never have run in a noisier environment in his life than he's about to face on the anchor leg for Australia. As Kebanat-Shipi smoothly and serenely toys with Matthew Hunt of Australia and hands the baton over first to Botswana. Oh, the great run! Oh my goodness me! That's going to be very close as to whether that changed in time. Can you believe it in a 4x4? Nervous moments, and they've completely lost their momentum. And Dory get the baton over in time there. That was touch and go. And all of a sudden, Aidan Murphy will be wondering what happened and why he's got a 5-metre lead. And don't rule out the Netherlands with Jonas Vijvers, who's absolutely flying as well around the home turn. Murphy's going to try and hold on here. I think he's got enough distance, and Dory will fly. Murphy's holding his form pretty well, and Dory's closing, and the line will come in time for Australia, I think. Aidan Murphy holds on, and Dory second for Botswana, and Vijvers close fast for the Netherlands. What a race, and oh, to be Australia, the party poopers.
Yeah, that could have certainly ended differently. Luckily, Botswana, their quartet is so strong, they were able, with the whole crowd help, just to manage to get that second place. This will cost them probably tomorrow in the lineup for the final, but I'm sure that they will be geared up again and ready to run and perhaps win gold here. So, good run by Australia. They certainly did what they had to do.
It's a huge national record for Australia as well by over 2 seconds. Pretty sure that'll be an Oceania record as well. Botswana in second position in that automatic qualifying spot. And the Netherlands and Brazil will have to wait and see with 2 more heats to come. I'm absolutely fascinated to see the replay of the handover for that final leg with Botswana there. And I mean, we've got to put that down to the occasion or something, haven't we, there? Because how often do you ever see a 4x4 changeover flirt with the edge of the takeover box? So we'll have a look at that very shortly. Botswana are happy at the moment. Kevin actually saying it's all good. Get through. It's fine. The change in volume when they missed the baton as well. So this is the first leg change from Epi. No problems here, and at this stage, always going to plan for Botswana in lane 7. So this one was okay as well. Kevin Atshipi getting the baton from Oratile. Look at Australia's lead at this point. Great team effort from Australia, but this next change is the one to watch for from Botswana. Kevin Atshipi here, watch him when he comes alongside. I hope we stay with this replay for a moment. Watch him coming alongside. Is he having a little look across in a second? Look how comfortable it is. We just missed the look across. Now then, they missed the baton there. They still haven't got it. Keep an eye for the red mark coming on the track. They're okay. Oh my goodness me, they're okay.
He was very, very confident coming in on third, maybe relaxed a little bit too much. He needed to give his man just a little bit more of an edge because Australia really just came to win this heat. And so hopefully tomorrow we see a different race out of him.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. The drama of it all. So the two highest profile Botswana quartets, we've seen Tobago charge through the field. We've seen Botswana nearly mess up the final baton change. Ultimately, this one hasn't gone to script. Australia have torn the script up there with a huge national record. 2:57.
Yes, and this is what the crowd came here to see. The men's 4x1, the men's 4x4. Certainly, I think the teams delivered today. The crowd will be here tomorrow. They're expecting gold. I know these guys, it's a lot of pressure on them. They have to go back, regroup, recover, and come back and deliver another awesome performance.
I think we need to go recover as well after that. Honestly, the noise in here, I've genuinely, I've been doing this job for quite a while. I've never heard noise like we're experiencing in this stadium. Zimbabwe, another of the neighbours here. Some good supports. They have Dennis Hove, Zuze Leaford, Kira Muishi, and Unlove, who's been in fantastic form. Beat Bryce Deadman of the USA last week, did Unlove, who will run the final leg for them. Kenya, the African Championship silver medalists. Dennis Malongo, Kipkara Rotich, Erasmus Baluka. And the final leg for them for Kenya in the second heat. There's Dancy Kibet as we see China. Liang, Zhu, Liu, and Shu. Portugal, they made the World Championship final last year. Pedro Afonso, Ericsson, Tavares, João Coelho, and Omar El Khatib. Coelho, season performer. South Africa, they've got a good team out here. Udemy Ocon, Miti Makulu, Linda Kokomo, the exciting young talent, and Zakiti Nene. Germany also strong quartet with Jean-Paul Bredau, Torben Finke, Manuel Sanders and Ove Fischer-Bijholz. And our first glimpse today of a team from Senegal with Abdou Ndiaye, Frédéric Mendy, Abou Sané and Cheikh Diouf on the final leg. Cheikh Diouf, the African champion over 100 meters on the anchor for Senegal. The South Africa fans are ready. So are we. 8-2 and 3.
They won the 4x1 and the 4x4 last year for the men. And so we certainly expect to see a really good performance for them here in the second heat.
And it's 3 of the team for South Africa that did win that title last year. We saw Gadeo Isaacs, the other member of the team, running the mixed event earlier on. There is Zimbabwe on the outside. One of the countries that shares a border with Botswana over to the east. And there, the Netherlands and Brazil. Wait and see if their performances will be enough to take them directly to Beijing. Our penultimate race of the day. Heat 2 of the men's 4x4. So Zimbabwe right on the outside. If they can set out well for Glove on the final leg, he's shown his brilliant form so far. Portugal have been an emerging nation in 4x400 meter runners. Their strongest runner, João Coelho, waits on the third leg for them. But it's Zimbabwe on the outside from Kenya, who have been multi-medalists here. Kenya have actually only not won a medal at the only edition they didn't compete at. Kenya, they've been a strong performing nation at the World Relays. China going very well here. Also Germany on the inside, who are up on South Africa. Portugal finishing strongly, but it's Zimbabwe right on the outside here with Dennis Hoba, who will pass the baton on first. Germany get it in second, ahead of Portugal and China. And South Africa just back in the pack here at the moment as their second leg runner, Mitsubakulu. And what's happened to China? China are pulled up, so China are gone here, unfortunately, which leaves us with 6 teams remaining. And here comes Zimbabwe to head South Africa.
South Africa is trying to make a move for the front, but they simply did not have enough here at that cut into lane 1. It's still Zimbabwe controlling the race. But here comes South Africa, defending champions from last year. They both exchange at the same time, but Zimbabwe's on the inside leading. Kenya just pulling up the rear after that first exchange.
Sibawiso for Zimbabwe. The teenager Linda Kirkemo, one of the fastest under-20s in history, is on the leg here for South Africa. For Germany, Manuel Sanders has the baton for them, and here comes Kirkemo, showing his superb form over the course of the last couple of months. Brilliant leg from Kirkemo, about to hand on to Zakiti Nene for South Africa. Zimbabwe tying up, which allows Germany through, and Portugal. A bit of traffic trouble for Germany at the changeover. Zimbabwe relegated to 4th after that with Umlov, who ran sub-45. And a great performance, and here he goes. Past Germany and past Omar, or trying to pass Omar El Khatib of Portugal, who's standing firm on the outside. Top 2 to the World Championships. South Africa out front at the moment with Zakiti Nene, who's trying to manage his effort. Here comes Umlov closing, an African 1-2 at the moment here for 2 of the neighbouring nations of Botswana. This will be a fitting celebration of African athletics here in this heat. It's a brilliant performance. Here come Portugal challenging Zimbabwe. It's South Africa who take it, and right on the line, oh, that's going to need a photo. Zimbabwe, or did Portugal crush the African 1-2 from Botswana's neighbours?
A really interesting race there for Zimbabwe. I've never seen in the 4x4 relay how a team goes from the first leg to the 4th leg in just one exchange. But luckily for them, they were able to regroup, come back. We're waiting to see. It is Portugal for that second position. They will have to wait to see what their time is.
Zimbabwe are through. As it stands at the moment, there's one more heat to come. They're in the top 2.
The same exact time as second place. Well, second place went to Portugal.
It's back to Beijing and back to the World Championships for Portugal. As we said, they were in the World Championship final last year, and that was a terrific final leg from Omar El Khatib, a national record for Portugal, and they beat Zimbabwe, who also posted a national record by 7 thousandths of a second. That was a brilliant leg from Kokemoa on the third for South Africa. What a performance from him, the teenager. Put his name in your notebook if you haven't already. He doesn't look that happy, Kokemoa. He's trying to keep cool. There's a smile in there somewhere. But Nene getting the job done. And South Africa, they can, if they want to, they can bring in Isaacs on the opening leg tomorrow, which will give them the top four, or the four that won the times before them last year. World bronze medalist as well. China, we're just seeing, unfortunately, there you can see a bit of strapping on the left hamstring of the Chinese athlete, and a real shame. They will get to come back tomorrow. They can replace that athlete. I hope he's okay. The second leg runner for China, Zhu. Well, we saw a couple of processions, what we call processions in the women's 4x4, with some wide victory margins, but these men's heats, the two we've seen so far, have been a lot more competitive, a lot more drama.
Yes. Zimbabwe went from second straight to fourth just in one changeover, and that just tells you how competitive these men's 4x4 relay is.
So this is the charge from El Khatib, which was worth 7 thousandths of a second on the line. Watch how close this is as Nene wins easily and right on the lead. Goodness me. The torso of the Portuguese athlete, not the head, is measured, and therefore you can see just the width of her chest, which is worth 7 thousandths of a second. But Zimbabwe at the moment sitting in one of those two-time qualifier spots, so may well find themselves qualified. We've got to wait for one more heat though. And now we come to the last of our heats and the last of our action of day one. What a day it's been here in Gaborone. Japan on the outside in heat 3 with Hayashi, Nakajima, Yoshizu and Imaizumi. Great Britain, the Olympic bronze medalists, have Lewis Davey on the first leg. Their team captain Lee Thompson's on the second. Seamus Derbyshire, 400 hurdler, is on the third, and Toby Harris on the fourth. A powerful Belgium quartet: Jonathan Sekurta, Robin van der Bendem, Alexander Dome and Daniel Sagers, who led them to fourth in the World Championship final in Tokyo. India with Chowdhury, Ramesh, Kayaz Bisley and Saji on the anchor leg for India, who are the Asian silver medalists. Spain against some familiar names in their lineup: Michael Fernandez, Samuel Garcia, Manuel Guijarro and Oscar Husios. Qatar are in 3, they're the Asian champions. They have Yahya, Ibrahim, Bassan Hamida, Jibreen and Osman. Switzerland in 2 through Vincent Gendre, Lionel Spitz, Julien Bonvin and Danny Brandt. And then Mexico go in 1 with Valentin Mendoza, Gerardo Aguirre, Edgar Ramirez and Luis Aviles. Sakura will lead off Belgium, the European champions. They were 4th in the world final, as I say. Lewis Davey for Great Britain. Got a lot of their top 4x400 meter relay athletes here. The concluding race of day 1 of the World Athletics Relays Gaborone 26 here in Botswana, with the final 2 automatic qualification spots up for grabs at the World Athletics Championships in Beijing. engaging, and already the three on the outside. Belgium, Great Britain and Japan easing their way away from the rest of the field at the moment. Jonathan Sakour there in the white and black of Belgium, maintaining a relatively even stagger at the moment. On those outside him, Great Britain's lead-off runner Lewis Davey, and on the outside for Japan, Shinya Hayashi. So Sakour closing strongly down this home straight, about to hand on to Robin van der Benden for the second leg. Japan also rallying in the closing stages of that leg as well, and Qatar have stuck through on the inside as well. So while the lead three got away, there were some good second halves of that first leg to bring their teams into contention at the break at the entrance to the back straight. So it's going to be Belgium from Qatar. India have moved up into third position. Switzerland right from the inside in the red and black as well have moved through into fourth position at the break. In fact, they're just closed behind Japan now into fifth. Great Britain are in sixth. Here comes India with Rajesh Ramesh moving around the outside. Japan also starting to get a move going with Yuki Nakajima moving up into second position. Great Britain and Spain starting to fade at the moment. Back in the field, Mexico are well down. So it's Japan from India, Qatar, Switzerland. Somewhat surprisingly, Belgium dropping backwards with Van der Benden. Great Britain have got plenty to do with Seamus Derbyshire. But it's Japan with Takuya Yoshihu, who has a few metres on India's third leg runner, Vishal Kayal-Bizi. Qatar down the back straight in third. Switzerland and Belgium coming back into it now, Tony.
It's Japan in front, followed by India, Qatar, Belgium. But it's Japan that's looking really, really smooth. He's starting to fade just a little bit. He's holding on though, but India's really pressing. Now in the lead. Qatar still looking good. And the exchange is India, Belgium, Qatar.
Well, there's an all-Asian trio out front at the moment. It's Japan, India and Qatar fighting this one out. Great Britain have emerged from the shadows with Toby Harries, who's gone extremely positively through this first 200 metres or so. Let's see if he's paced that one correctly. Harries has moved Great Britain to the front, then Japan and India. Qatar, Belgium are closing as well with Daniel Sagers. Look at this for two competitive spots in the World Championships. Only two of these teams can automatically get through. Great Britain tying up on the inside. Harries went too hard, but it's Osman for Qatar and Sagers of Belgium who will come away and put the two automatic spots. Qatar and Belgium tight on the line for the win, but they're both on the plains of Beijing. Well-judged final leg from Ashraf Osman for Qatar. Sagers closed well for Belgium, and others paid the price for going too hard too soon.
Yeah, really tight one coming down to the finish. Really was anyone's race within the last 50 meters or so. But it was Belgium to pull off the win for that first automatic qualifying spot.
And that time is good news as well for those on the next best list. They've already got the tickets certainly, because they know that they're not going to be disloyal. So Netherlands and Zimbabwe through to the World Championships as well. Here are the celebrations for Zimbabwe making their return to the World Championships. Belgium, they were fourth last time around. The video footage that's become famous in Botswana, it has Daniel Sagers in it of Belgium, but he's further down the track in fourth. He wasn't in that thrilling medal shake-up for the USA, Right Benjamin, and also in Nene of South Africa. But a breathless finale here on day one of the World Relays. So many tickets booked, and of course for so many, Switzerland national record, by the way, we just got a brief shot of that. So many who have got the job done and will adjust their team tactics accordingly. Quite a few who probably may not have been expecting to need to come back tomorrow, Tonique, in some of the events.
Yeah, I think certainly day one was everything we expected it to be. We expect to see some big names show up tomorrow. We still are looking for a sighting from Elaine Thompson-Herrick from Jamaica. And then, of course, we want to see the quartets from Botswana in the men's 4x1 and 4x4 tomorrow. So it's so much action to go.
Well, there certainly is, as we see some great shots of this. Well, this was the changeover for the third to fourth leg. From India, Qatar and Japan, who are dominating that particular heat for Asia. This is Toby Harry's move for Great Britain. It was a bold strategy, going eyeballs out for the first 200 metres and then hoping you can hang on and hope others fall to pieces around you, but unfortunately the legs flooded for Toby Harry's. The contrast with Sagers coming through for Belgium, not doing enough in the end to pip Qatar on the line. And Spain and India will be some of the leading lights for tomorrow. Again, the width of a vest, as we saw earlier on, the width of a vest, the width of a chest is needed to separate, and in fact, as you can see there, that result has been revised, actually, to be a dead heat between Belgium and Qatar. So they've both been given position number 1, so that is a dead heat between Belgium and Qatar. They're both going through anyway.
Very often.
Not at all. Both going through. National record for Qatar. We meet Spain first of all on the outside, who are in lane 8. They have David Garcia, Samuel Garcia, Manuel Guijarro and Oscar Husios. One change for them from the team that ran yesterday. Germany are in 7 with Jean-Paul Bredal to lead them off, to Torben Finke, Manuel Sanders and Oai Fischer Breitholtz. This is the same 4 in the same order that ran for them yesterday. European bronze medalists, as we say. Manuel Sanders was their fastest split yesterday with 44.2 on that third leg. Jamaica with Assini Wilson, Jeremy Bembridge, Javon Powell and Raheem Hales. It's the same 4. They've swapped Bembridge and Powell on legs 2 and 3. They will run the opposite way round this time for Jamaica, who was 7th in the world final, but only finished 5th in their heat yesterday. Nigeria are in lane 5 with Gafari Badmas, Ifeanyi Ejele, Victor Ime and Ezekiel Asukwo. And that for them is the same quartet in the same order as yesterday. Kenya with Dennis Malungo to lead them off. Danson Kibet, they're the African silver medalists. So Kenya, some local support over from the east of this continent. Baluka and the experienced Kevin Kip Korea. Mexico are a withdrawal in lane 3, so we go to Denmark. They're a late withdrawal, Mexico, because they were on the start list and they have a team named. Denmark with Nielsen, Falk, Jurgensen and Isaacson. Representing the Scandinavian nation, their only team here. And likewise in lane 1, Senegal have just one event entered, and this is it. And they have Abdou Njai, Frederic Mendy, Abu Sane, and the very talented Cheick Diouf on the anchor leg for Senegal. Dual support there, Botswana on the face, Senegal tracksuit top in the hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
The first of the second round heats in the men's 4x400 metres, with the top 2 making the World Championships. So we've just seen the women's Jamaican 4x400 metre team not make it through to the World Championships. The hopes of Jamaica in this event now rest with the men's quartet, who fell below expectations yesterday. Again, 1 or 2 athletes who weren't able to make it for various reasons here. With the quality they've got, you'd expect them to be challenging, as Senegal go out very hard on this first leg, right on the inside. Nightmare draw for this first leg for Abdou Njai. They're trying to take whatever he can out of the stagger, but Germany and Spain right on the outside. Nigeria also in the all-white kit with Gafari Badmus. I've had a good first leg here, just starting to rock and roll a little bit, Nigeria in the closing steps as we see the changeovers. Nigeria and Jamaica very tightly ahead of Spain, Germany Then Kenya, Denmark and Senegal battling to get themselves into a position going around that first turn.
Yes, just coming off the first term, it looks to be Nigeria taking the start at the break. In comes Spain. But Jamaica is trying hard to stay in the mix. But Kenya's making a great surge. Nigeria, Spain, Jamaica, Kenya. Senegal is in 5th place, coming into the home stretch. Oh no! Nigeria had a slight jump. I'm not sure what happened, but he's bringing the baton in. He hands it off first. Spain right in there. Okay, and Kenya's now going to the front. But here comes Senegal. Oh no, there's a tumble. Kenya had a fall. Nigeria continues on, so does Spain, Jamaica, Senegal. Germany in 5th place. But it's all Nigeria coming into the last 150 meters with Spain pressing. Nigeria, Spain, Jamaica, Senegal, Germany. And it now looks like we're also going to lose Japan. Denmark.
Spain take the lead then out on the final leg. Absolutely chaotic legs 2 and 3. Kenya, the unfortunate forwards, we nearly lost more than one team on the changeover the previous leg. Thankfully, they were all still standing as the Spanish quartet with Oscar Hicios. Down the back, a Sukro for Nigeria. Senegal with Diouf really well positioned, and Jamaica with Raheem Hales right on their shoulder as well. As Nigeria just lose a couple of meters on that turn. But it's Spain with the vast experience of Hicios out front. Here come Jamaica trying to launch their challenge with Hales. 2 places up for grabs at the World Championships. Hicios for Spain, Senegal, Nigeria are coming. Spain are hanging on. Senegal are reaching up the ground. And Senegal will get there. And Spain will hold off Nigeria for the 2nd spot. Delirium for the Senegalese, their only team here in Gaborone are through to the World Championships. Popular victors.
And the crowd is excited. They're cheering for Senegal. They're cheering for one of their own, really. Well,
Oscar Hicios on the final leg will have felt the weight of Africa coming in his wing mirrors there. Senegal and Nigeria. Jamaica, I'm afraid, have missed out again. Kenya and Denmark did finish despite both suffering trouble. Kenya fell and Denmark had an injury at the end of the 3rd leg. But Senegal, well, what a terrific performance from them. And those who have Senegal tracksuit tops, new fans of Senegal maybe. But Africa again, shining in the sunshine in Botswana. And there is the Senegal flag and the rest of the team backroom staff. Credit Spain as well, who just bolstered their quartet today and go through in 2nd position.
Senegal walks over to greet some of their supporters.
Spain get their hands on the plane ticket as well, a couple of them do at least. Just looking back at the Senegal performances in World Championships, their best positioning in the men's 4x4 at World Champs is a 7th place finish. It goes back to Seville in 1999. So it'd be brilliant to have Senegal with us in China. We might get a look back, hopefully, at some of the incidents coming towards the end of the 2nd leg, I think it was, where we had 4 athletes all vying for position, trying to get themselves organised for the handover. Here is where it all went wrong. Let's see what happened here. It's remarkable that all these athletes stayed on their feet, to be honest. They were all impeded in some way. It looked like Bembridge of Jamaica was just trying to check out to give himself some room. And as a result of that, they all ran into each other. And Senegal actually really benefited there tonight. They came through and made up some meters.
Yes, they all seemed to recover from whatever that was, a stumble. Really bring it brilliantly.
And there's the Kenya fall.
Yeah.
Again, difficult to see from that whether he was clipped from behind or whether he's clipped the curb. Let's see here, we might get a better look. And it looks like coming together of legs as they just went into the sharpest part of the turn there. What a shame for Kenya, whose chances were gone there effectively. What a brilliant battle. And this is 4x4, isn't it? It's hectic. There's a lot of moving and chopping and changing and vying for position, and here fighting the lactic. See us his face and look at the gritted teeth from Diouf.
Spain, they're really having a really good championship.
Yeah, the headlines really were made by their women, the women's half of their relay squad last year in Guangzhou, weren't they? And again yesterday, but great to see the men's team who have had India in lane 8, the Asian silver medalist with Chowdhury, Jacob, Ramesh and Kyle Vazani. They've made a couple of changes. They brought in Jacob and they brought in Ramesh to bolster their team from yesterday. Remember, if you weren't with us earlier, teams can make a maximum of 2 team changes from the quartet that ran in this event yesterday. Japan are in lane 7. The fastest split yesterday was from their anchor runner, Nakajima, who ran 44.1. Really impressive anchor from him yesterday for the hosts of last year's World Athletics Championships. Poland have Marcin Karolewski, Victor Verbal, Kajtan Jasinski and Mateusz Rzeźniczak. They'll go in lane 6. They've just seen their women's 4x4 qualify. China, they had an injury issue yesterday. Actually didn't finish the race yesterday. Ju, their runner on one of the middle legs, unfortunately pulled up injured, so they didn't get round. They replace him today and go again. Brazil with Vinicius Moura on the opening leg. The South American champions to Lucas Villa, to Thiago Lemes da Silva, Mateus Lima. Is the same 4 in the same order for the South American champions today. Great Britain and Northern Ireland are the Olympic bronze medalists. They once again have Lewis Davey leading them off, but they've twiddled the rest of the order round. They have Toby Harries, who ran the anchor yesterday, went charging out and blew up in the home straight. Lee Thompson, the British team captain, and Seamus Derbyshire, the hurdler, will run the anchor today. And Switzerland on the inside with Julien Bonvin, Ricky Petrucciani, Danny Brandt and Lionel Spitz. Again, that is a very, very solid Swiss contingent as well. Certainly out of these teams, Great Britain and Northern Ireland were the ones most disappointed, the Olympic bronze medal, to find themselves in this today. What drama to come this time in heat 2 of 2 in the men's 4x400 meters qualifying round 2. The final chance for these athletes here in Botswana, and the Botswana World Athletics Relays Gaborone 26 to qualify for Beijing. Brazil, the South American champions, bearing down on China in the centre. In fact, China now extending out that gap. Other than that, it's pretty even. It's China who probably made the biggest inroads. The two on the outside, India and Japan, just opening up a bit of a gap on Poland as well. Coming around into the first changeover. Japan are finishing strongly here and may well just have the edge ahead of China. There's Shinya Hayashi for them. We get ready for the handover, and it is Japan in the lead at the handover, ahead of China. India right on the outside, then Brazil, Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Poland and Switzerland on the inside.
Yes, and as they come into the break, it's still Japan leading with India close by, but it's Great Britain on the inside, pulling up next to India. And Brazil takes the lead. Japan still hangs in there on the inside.
India are gone.
India is gone. And it's Brazil, Japan, Great Britain, and China as we go into this next handover. Japan and Great Britain have a great start. Brazil lose a little bit momentum there, but China's gaining. Great Britain is now in control of the race, with Japan slightly behind, Brazil surging to the front, and China hanging in fourth. Great Britain, Brazil, Japan, and China. Now Japan is surging as we go into this final exchange.
So Japan have the lead. Seamus Derbyshire just tight for room with Great Britain on the inside there, and Brazil fighting for a racing line as well. Derbyshire trying to hold that inside line for these two automatic spots. For Japan, it's Yuki Nakajima, their fastest runner from yesterday. Brazil with the talented Matheus Lima moving up into second position ahead of Seamus Derbyshire, trying to judge his effort, and China in fourth with Switzerland back in fifth position. Two spots at the World Championships up for grabs. Japan, Brazil, Great Britain, China trying to have an impact. Switzerland are still coming as well in fifth position, but look like they've got a lot to do. Japan now as Lima finds some room in lane two to try to challenge, and it's going to be Japan and Brazil who progress through to the World Championships. Great Britain third, tight on the line for fourth between China and Switzerland, and Japan and Brazil get the job done.
Really good final leg by Nakajima of Japan.
Well, he was their most impressive performer yesterday, Nakajima, and he's repeated the feat today. Matheus Lima holding off Great Britain and Northern Ireland, so the Olympic bronze medalists not making it through at this stage for the World Championships. Remember, every team that doesn't get through here still has a chance. There are 4 spots up for grabs for the best performers next year, so all is not lost. Whether there are major nations, of course, who don't get through here, it means that there are faster times going to be in those top lists. But frustration for China, who just miss out. And why not use a plane ticket to Beijing as a sunshade? First Brazilian team that have gone through. And boy, are they happy about it. And it's an almighty journey from Brazil to Botswana that we spoke about earlier on. The journey home is a little less painful when you've got a World Championship ticket. Great work from Brazil, great work from Japan, who of course qualified as the host nation last year for the World Championship, so have to go back and do the hard work this time and get themselves there on merit. But they led at the first changeover, Japan. And apart from a burst from Lee Thompson, the Great Britain team captain on the second lane, there was a little bit of traffic trouble there for Japan, but again, thankfully, unlike the previous race, no racing incidents that led to any team's chances disappearing. We're saying that Great Britain's men's quartet, they'll have a few they could bring in, the likes of Charlie Dobson and Alex Haydock-Wilson, Matthew Hudson-Smith. There is a little bit of extra power in their team and some bright up-and-coming talents as well. So certainly they will have been confident of coming here and getting all their teams through.
And the race was really all over the place. We saw where Great Britain led, Japan led at one point, Brazil led.
And that's where we've sort of effectively, you know, with the qualification of teams from yesterday through to the final, this is why these races have been a lot more competitive and a lot more of a sort of what we'd call racing action, where athletes are coming together. They're all a bit closer match because we've taken some of the better performers out of these races and put them into the final later on. They've already got their qualification secure. But Japan, well, they're reasonably happy about it, aren't they? It's not the wildest celebrations we've ever seen from the Japanese, but. The first African winners of the World Championship title in the men's 4x4 were these four gentlemen: Lee Epi, Letsile Tebogo, Bayapo Ndori, and Busan Colin Kebanet Shipi.
They're all on their feet.
They're in lane 8, and what a thrill for that young member of our kids' athletics program to be the one with the honour of passing it over to, I'm sure, four of their heroes. South Africa, side by side with their near neighbours, will go in lane 7, the defending champions in this event, the world bronze medalists. With Team Kulu, Live Pillay comes in, Kirkamoa, the 18-year-old, was outstanding yesterday. And on their anchor they have Zakiti Nene. Belgium are in lane 6, they are the European champions, they finished 4th in the world final. They have a change to their team. Julian Huatrine comes in because Jonathan Sakura ran earlier on. Robin van der Benden, Dylan Borley, and Alexander Dome. Dylan Borley coming in for Daniel Sagers as well, who also strengthened the mixed team earlier. Qatar are the Asian champions. They ran a national record yesterday, also finished 5th in the World Championship final in Tokyo, with Ibrahim, Hamida, Hassan and Osman. One change to their team, bringing Hassan in on the 3rd leg. Australia, what a run from them yesterday to take nearly 2.5 seconds off a 42-year-old area record that went back to the LA 1984 Olympics. Van Rattigan, holder, Tom Reynolds comes into the team, and Aidan Murphy on the anchor, who was superb yesterday, as were they all. Portugal, the World Championship finalists, national record yesterday for them. Pedro Afonso, Erickson, Tavares, João Coelho and Omar El Khatib, same 4 as yesterday. Another of the countries that shares a border with Botswana is Zimbabwe. Dennis Hove, Zuze Leaford, Karen Mwishi and Tanzazani Nglove, who's been running great sub-45 times recently. National record for them yesterday. But Love actually was sub-44 yesterday on the anchor for Zimbabwe. And on the inside are the Netherlands, the world finalists. Jonas Pfeifers, who ran a brilliant anchor yesterday, is back on that leg again today. Keenan Blake will lead them off. Eugene Omala has just seen his twin brother Jamie run. This is the same 4 for the Netherlands as yesterday. But can you imagine the feeling going through their mind right now, Tonique?
Yes, this is definitely exciting. But we saw what happened inside the men's 4x1, and so it's very important that they remain patient in this race and they deliver.
And we saw what happened yesterday with a near botched changeover from Botswana as well.
Yes, you don't want to celebrate too early.
Our final event here in the Botswana World Athletics Relays, Gaborone 26. Is a men's 4x400 meters final with the hosts Botswana, the world champions, right on the outside in lane 8.
6 out of 8 of these teams were in Tokyo for the World Championships.
Botswana hold the second fastest time of all time behind the United States. They set that back at the Paris Olympics. They will never have better support and better conditions to try and get near that this time around. Right on the outside, Liepi, their standard traditional first leg runner, and South Africa have pulled away from the others with Mtimaluku in this early stage. The two neighbours in border, neighbours in friendship, relationship, our neighbours on the track, but it's Epi for Botswana. About to hand on for the second leg for them to Letsile Tebogo, who will take the baton on the second leg. Tebogo will break from lanes when he enters the back straights. He's up against South Africa's second leg runner, Live Pillay. Australia with Reece Holder in 3rd position. He ran a brilliant leg yesterday, and the challengers in behind are led on the inside by Zimbabwe, just getting across at the break. But Tebogo has 5 or 6 meters, 200 meters remaining of his leg. We'll have the sound of the talking for Tebogo as he comes into the home straights. Pillay digging deep in his strength. Tobago starting to tie up. And it will be South Africa who will go on to the third leg in the lead. These three way clear. Australia closing. The baton for South Africa on this third leg is with the teenager Linda Kirkemoa. What a moment for him. He's got Byapo and Dory, the individual 400-meter bronze medalist in pursuit. And Australia not out of the running yet. Thomas Reynolds has the baton for them. The medals are surely between these three. They're miles clear of the rest at the moment. Now Ndori shapes out the challenge, Kirkemoa, but the teenager holding his inside line and moving again for Botswana's near neighbours. Another outstanding leg from the 18-year-old Linda Kirkemoa for South Africa. Ndori, with his arms flailing style, comes again. It's going to be so tight for the final change. 3 in the line as we set out on the final leg of the men's 4x400 metres. Zikiti Nene on the inside for South Africa. Colin Kibanachipi, the world champion for Botswana, and Aidan Murphy of Australia, who spoiled the Botswana party yesterday. Can he do the same again? Kibanachipi stays cool between the two. Nene as well has the experience, holding the inside line. Murphy running the extra yards. What an absolute thriller to bring the curtain down on the Botswana World Athletics relays here in Gaborone. Kibanachipi angles out to give the home crowd what they came for. South Africa trying to fight back, but it's Botswana who will sparkle in the land of the diamonds. The noise. 2 words. The noise. It's another silver for South Africa. They gave it their best shot, but in a championship record time of 2:54.47.
There are no umbrellas, just flags. Botswana flags waving in the air on this very, very historical moment.
That is an improvement, by the way, on Botswana's time in the all-time list. It's an improvement on their position in the second. But the arms wave, the flags fly. The energy has been seeping out of these stands for 2 days solid. But never has it reached a crescendo like we're seeing right now. That's what they came for. Look at the National Stadium in Gaborone. Kibanachipi was cool, he was calm. Tobago ran a tough race yesterday in the 4x1. You can see almost the mental relief seeping out of the Botswana runners as well.
For Botswana and their 60th anniversary to host such a grand event in such a grand style.
Well, as we watch the changeovers, Australia will barely get a mention in the fallout of this, but they were absolutely superb in finishing third. Africa dominate 1 and 2. This is where Tobago's juices just started to dry up.
The first time Belgium has been left out of the medal count. It was South Africa, Botswana, and Belgium in 2024 and 2025 in the medal hunt.
There were so many mini stories between legs there, weren't they? All on every single leg. Kirkemoa for South Africa there was fantastic for 380 metres and then just ran. Look at Kibanachipi in the board. Just look at him.
Yes, he looks so confident. He knows how much he has left in the tank. never panicked.
That could be a training rent between three teammates, couldn't it? If you just take out the fact there's a 25,000 crowd, it's bursting into absolute delirium. But here, this is where the volume took off.
Great rounds by the Australians. They ran beautifully yesterday, but simply did not have enough to come and defeat South Africa and Botswana on African territory.
Brothers in arms. The president handing over the medals down trackside by Upper Ndori.
This is the first official medal presentation.
It is. It's the president of Botswana, Advocate Gideon Duma-Boko, who is handing out the medals down there. He's been watching on eagerly alongside Sebastian Coe, the president of World Athletics. There he is, just in the shot. He'll present the check. But the president of Botswana with the honour of crowning their World Athletics Relays champions. We're just letting the sights and sounds of the National Stadium come through to you wherever you're watching around the world. Botswana has done an absolutely phenomenal job of staging these Botswana World Athletics relays. Kevin actually looks like he's barely exuded a bead of sweat. And sending the message out that their world title is going to be a tough one to wrestle off them come Beijing next year. And they're wandering off on a lap of honour in front of us here, Liepi. Tell you what, Tonique, the Bahamas are staging these in 2 years again, and the South, you've got your work cut out to beat this.